Dexter. I'm an instructional assistant professor in the Department of Performance Studies, and I'm also the costume studio supervisor for our department. Welcome to the costume studio. Today we will be talking about how to make your own fabric face covering or mask, similar to the one that I'm wearing today. So first, let's talk about the supplies that you're going to need. The first thing you will need is fabric. It doesn't take very much. In fact, for the mask that we're making today, you'll need 2 squares. But what's important about the fabric is that it is 100% cotton woven fabric. That is shown to be the most effective for preventing COVID-19 transmission. So we've chosen 2 fabrics for our masks today. We have a Texas A&M printed fabric, as well as a solid maroon color fabric to be the second layer. You can use 2 layers of the same fabric in any print that you choose, as long as, once again, you're using woven 100% cotton fabric. The types of fabric that quilters use work really well for this. The other supplies that you're going to need for this project include a pair of scissors, a ruler, and something to make marks with on your fabric. You'll also need something to hold the fabric together while you're stitching. You might use straight pins like these, or clips like binder clips or these quilting clips, which will hold the fabric securely as you prepare to stitch. The other important supply that you will need is elastic. We're using 1/4 inch elastic. You can purchase this at most department stores or any craft supply stores. And the 1/4 inch is a good width for being able to hold your face covering on securely without pulling your ears forward. You will also, for this tutorial, need an iron and a sewing machine. Hopefully in future installments, we'll show you how to make a mask if you don't own a sewing machine. First step in creating your mask is to cut 2 pieces of fabric. Today we've cut 2 pieces that are 8 inches wide and 7 inches tall. If your fabric is solid, you don't really have to worry about which side is which, but for a directional print like this one, you'll want to make sure that you have more width than height. Once you have 2 pieces, you'll need to put them together right sides to right sides. And what we mean by that is that the side of the fabric that you want facing out for the finished project gets sandwiched inside while you're stitching. So this part of the fabric will be underneath this solid maroon layer. And we're going to use 1/2 inch seam allowance, meaning that our stitching lines will be 1/2 inch away from the edge of the fabric. So I'm using this ruler to mark 1/2 inch and a piece of chalk so that you'll be able to see the line that I'm drawing. So I'm marking a line 1/2 inch from the edge of the fabric, and this will be my stitching line. The next thing you'll want to do before you stitch is to secure these 2 pieces of fabric together so that they stay straight while you're sewing. You can use straight pins, and I suggest when using a pin to enter the fabric on one side of the line and exit on the other side. And you can put a pin every few inches to hold these pieces of fabric in place. Alternatively, you can use clips to hold your fabric together. And when you do that, you'll just place a clip in the seam allowance, which is the space between your stitching line and the edge of the fabric. And once again, just put them every few inches to hold the fabric in place while you sew. After you've marked your stitching lines, you can go ahead and sew. We've done this one in preparation for our video today. So when you're using your sewing machine, you will stitch a straight line right across your stitching line, making sure that you're back stitching at the beginning and the end to secure your line of stitching. The next thing that you'll want to do is to flip your mask right side out. So you can see we've done this so that the raw edges of the fabric are now enclosed and won't irritate your skin. The next thing that you'll do is to take this to the iron and press this seam so that it is flat and even across the bottom and the top of your face covering. You can see that we've done that already on this piece here. So it has been marked, stitched, flipped right side out, and has pressed seams on the top and the bottom. Once you have your pieces turned right side out and the edges pressed, it's time to mark the pleats. I've marked this side. We're using 2 3/4 inch pleats for our face covering. So what you'll want to do is to measure down from the top edge of your face covering 3/4 inch and make a mark, and continue to do that 5 more times. You need 3 marks for each pleat. So every 3/4 inch, make a mark. Okay, so now we have 6 marks spaced at 3/4 inch apart. And the way that we form our pleats is by folding up from the 3rd mark to the 1st, and from the 6th mark to the 4th. So that looks like this. We'll start, I like to take a little pinch at this mark and make it meet the 1st, and you can secure that with a clip or with straight pins. We'll use clips here. And then again, the same process from the 6th mark to the 4th. Once you have your pleats marked, you'll want to stay stitch them. That means to do a line of stitching to keep them in place while you complete the construction of the face covering. You can see on this one here, we've made a line of stitching 1/2 inch in from the edge to keep the pleats in place while we finish the following steps. Once you have your pleats stitched in place, it's time to finish the edges and add elastic to your face covering. What you'll want to do is to fold in the edge of the fabric to that stitching line, and then one more time so that your stitching line is now the edge of the fabric. And we're going to add 9-inch pieces of elastic. This is our 1/4 inch elastic. You can choose any color that you like. And we'll sandwich it in to the fold we just made and pin it in place. Be sure you're pinning through all the layers so that everything stays put while you're stitching. So remember, fold to the stitching line, and then again, so that the stitching line is the edge of the fabric, and also all the raw edges are enclosed. We'll sandwich the elastic between the folds and pin it into place. You will most likely want a third pin to go through this center area here where you don't have elastic. And I'm going to move all my pins so they're going the same direction. So you'll do this on both sides so that your raw edges are encased and your elastic loop is facing towards the center of the mask. And now you have a completed face mask. The first thing that you'll want to do is try it on to check for fit. You don't want to have any gaps at your nose, your chin, or on the sides of your cheeks. You want to make sure that it fits flat against your skin and that the ear loops are secure but comfortable. After you've worn a mask, when it's time for you to remove it, you don't want to touch the outside layer of the fabric. Always assume that that has been contaminated. Instead, you're going to use the elastic ear loops to lift the mask off your face. These masks are machine washable, so you can put them directly into the washing machine, or if that's easier for you, of course you can hand wash them. But you'll always want to make sure that you start your day with a clean mask. We recommend that you have several masks on your body at all times in case a mask gets wet or contaminated. You can switch out for a fresh one. And so this is a great way for you to make masks that have your personal style and keep you safe this fall semester. Thank you for watching.